welcome to you. It is a privilege to have you with us.
You have been a brother to me. I think we have done so much business together. We have fought so many battles together.
Tapan, few questions from my side, just for our viewers. There has been a lot of great structural changes and all positive, I would say. The biggest one being the GST, which the government has rolled back the GST implementation on life and health insurance policy. What's your take on that?
First and foremost, we have been advocating for this for quite some time. Fundamentally, because insurance is not a luxury, it's an essential, and something is essential. If I look at the GST structure, basically the essential services should have nil GST. I think that is how we have been advocating for it, and I was very happy when the government came out to begin with for the term, the life for health, at 0% GST. Obviously, my request would be to look at other retail policies also going forward, because as I said, it's an essential for every individual in terms of social protection for them. But for health, it is very, very critical. And we know, doctor, health is one premium which increases with age, So fundamentally, and your income decreases with age. It actually becomes disproportional after some time. After the peak, the negative starts when you require health most. So how do we keep health, healthcare affordable? How do we keep insurance premium affordable? So that people who require it the most, get it. There are three components to it. One, obviously, GST, which was 18%, where the government has stepped in. The second is efficiency in hospitals, where I think the hospitals also have to step in. And third is efficiency in insurance company in terms of how they make themselves more efficient.
Yes.
When you put all this together, you bring in transparency, you eliminate fraud, then in the country, in a long-term basis, you'll be able to keep healthcare affordable, and you'll be able to keep health insurance affordable for people who require it the most. So GST, in my view, becoming zero for health is a very big step, and we welcomed it a lot from the government. But the request again is that in all retail policies, we should actually make GST zero.
Yeah. So in fact, I really appreciate your views, and what we have observed also is this government is listening. So, if there is a problem in the industry, we go to the government listens and gives us a solution. So that's a big positive. And when I'm saying government, it's not just about the central government, it's about the regulator as well. So regulator also is in a great listening mode. So on that context, regulator is pushing a lot of innovation, a lot of digitization. They want to do something great to achieve their mission 2047, to achieve insurance for all by 2047. Where do you think the industry will shape up, and where do you think the industry will contribute towards this vision for 2047 by way of innovation?
First and foremost, if you look at the number of changes, regulatory changes which happen, it has actually freed up the industry to be innovative, to be able to use technology, to be able to make a difference to society. Let me explain why.
Yeah.
If you look in the era when you had to file and use a product, and the whole process would take maybe 8 months, 9 months, sometimes a year in terms of getting a product onto the ground. So let's say if you're working for a company and your product takes about a year to hit the ground and running, after all the to and fro, then your enthusiasm for coming out with innovative products, enthusiasm to be at hyperscale to make a difference would be low. You would be doing it systematically. The biggest change in my view was that now it is like use and file. So obviously it gives you a lot of freedom to make a difference. Have I seen a lot of plethora of changes as yet? No. Environment is enabling, and because environment is enabling, my hope is that as time progresses, this will actually have a huge cascading effect on the industry in going forward. If you look at the number of regulations, that also has come down. It has become more principle-based regulation in terms of how do you look at it. So when you free up the industry and create an environment in which you allow innovation to happen, by the same time keep control that you don't go out of boundaries and become an anti-policy holder, that is the best situation to be in. And now this is being created. And the other thing is the talent of the industry. Now that also, if you look at, is coming up very well. You put it all together, I'm very, very hopeful that you will be seeing wonderful changes and a lot of innovations, which will be first in the world also, beginning from Indian soil. That is my feel. Some of it has already been, but this will be moving up much faster than what you would have ever imagined.
India by nature is hosting a lot of entrepreneurs, so it's in our culture. So I do believe, yes, that with this, the industry has to now give a great push. It's our role now to grow the industry faster because government has given what we wanted. So I think I do completely buy that logic. So Tapan, so basically there is currently a significant underpenetration as per the data shows. And India is nowhere compared to the global benchmark in terms of penetration or density. What do you think the industry can do further to increase the penetration density?
First and foremost, and this again I have been saying for a long time, if you understand insurance as a category, it is not about just, you should not see it as a business. Insurance as a category is something in which the government, the insurance industry, they work together to solve societal issues. Let's be very clear, no? So I think a lot of people confuse when they look at insurance industry. They see it as any other industry, no, which would be, let us say, manufacturing cars, or let us say, manufacturing white goods. No, the insurance industry is supposed to solve societal worries, take care of societal well-being, and move ahead with that. Now, that is the primary aim which is to be there. And that's why you see the principal insurance is you collect money from many to pay to a few which has a loss, no? And then the premium adjusts on the basis. If the loss is low, premium comes down. The loss is more, premium goes up. It's a very simple principle. So in a way, it is a societal safety net which has been created. So if you want insurance for all, at all level, my belief is that the insurance industry and the government should work together, hand in hand, solving it together. Has it happened? The answer is yes. If you look at the crop insurance, which came, significant. You already have close to 30% of farmers covered. It has to reach 100%. But again, government, insurance industry coming together. Lot of changes happened, plus, minus. It kept on evolving, learning, and kept on moving forward, for the betterment of the farmers. If you look at the health insurance for below poverty line, again, a lot of learning, lot of coming together. The world first in terms of innovations of straight through payment, including pre-existing at the cost per patient or the cost per premium. The one that we said, affordable healthcare, affordable premium, massive impact, which should be there. The other thing which I want to see now, and we have been talking about for quite some time, is the parametric solutions for the natural catastrophic losses, like be it Uttarakhand floods, be it how do you solve that putting together? So step by step you take it on and reach the last mile, because it's not only about just taking care of everybody. India doesn't have the basic requirement of social security which is there. So insurance and government put together can create that net. One, the impact of this on the GDP is also huge. And there's a paper which I published which is called the leaking bucket, which I sent to the government also. We are happy with the 6 to 7% growth. Technically, India is actually growing at 10 to 11%. 4-5% we are losing as a leaking bucket, The impact of health not being covered for all is about 1.5% of GDP. The impact of losses in catastrophic losses which is happening in the industry, SME, MSME not being covered, is 2% of GDP. It's directly correlated to it. If you want to be Viksit Bharat, you want to be 2047 a developed nation, it has to happen. There's no other option, show me any developed nation which doesn't have health, taking care of health for all. Show me a developed nation which doesn't have high penetration of SME, MSME. Show me a developed nation which doesn't have a social security for everybody. So in my view, to answer your question, it's a long answer, but the point I want to put forward is to reach 100% penetration, it is government, the industry working together for solving societal issues.
It definitely cannot work in silos. Yes, I do agree. In fact, you mentioned about parametric insurance. So taking a cue from that, a lot of newer products which are giving an alternative risk transfer solutions are now coming to the market. And I think over the period of time, there is going to be a significant acceptance in the market of these solutions, which are definitely more innovative. But of course, they can't replace the insurance market. They can be only a supplementary solution to the market. Talking about the protection gap, and I do believe there is a significant protection gap. And if I am not forgetting the numbers, India, the NATCAT natural catastrophic protection gap is more than 43%. Globally, I'm sorry. That's a global average. India must be less than 10. So that's a huge gap. So, I mean, we all as an industry should do something so that this protection gap goes down. And whenever there is a loss, mainly the NATCAT loss, the suffering party gets the maximum benefit from it through insurance, of course.
No, see, when I look at solving issues, Doctor, insurance I see as one component.
Yeah.
There should be a compensation. Let me explain. When you have a NatCat loss, and like you rightfully said, 90% is not covered, more than 90%. Yeah. Out of those, the industries which get destroyed, 25% become bankrupt in India. No?
Yeah.
And the state in which it happens, it goes below in terms of the GDP growth. Compare this to, let's say, US. When a hurricane or tornado happens in any state, you look at their GDP growth rate, it's actually above what it was before the hurricane.
Yeah.
Now, what's the difference? 95% of the risk is covered there, and here you have only 6 to 7% risk. So, it is not only about that should we have insurance or not. The issue is, if you're talking of economic growth, which has to touch double digit for India to become developed nation, then stop the leaking bucket first. Second, if you are looking at becoming a big industrialist tomorrow and you're not covered, the data shows 25-30% become bankrupt, and the dreams of becoming the next Tata, Birlas, Ambanis, Bajajes disappears just by one evening of a catastrophic loss. So be insured, be covered, take care. It's insignificant as a cost to your total business which is there. Putting all that together, and I think you have done so much work from the broker side, distribution side. I think from our side, we should make it transparent, easy for the customers to buy, and the claim should be completely zero friction and through. I think put all this together and get there. We will get there, and I'm very, very confident.
Yeah, absolutely. I think can't agree more. So, absolutely. So, there is a lot of changes which is happening, and the new disruption and the buzzword is AI in the market. How is AI going to shape up the industry, or how is it going to disrupt the industry?
It's interesting, Doctor, you asked me this question. Most of it I think you're working on already, but let me do my bit. See, generative AI, in my view, is, and I call this, we heard about 3-box theory and all the fancy management word, but if you look at the Indian philosophy or any philosophy across the globe, you already have this trinity, where you have Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, the creator, the preserver, the destroyer. And if you look at your personal life, all three keep on working continuously for you to be where it is. So I call the generative AI moment as the Tandav Moment. The destruction of the past in the way what you have seen, business processes and and the new emergence happening. If people underestimate, and a lot of people still cite reports that it's not delivering the value that people have been seeing, 90% of it has gone waste. I think there are conversations when internet came, people were writing of internet and saying that, no, it's just a fad, it will go away. I remember those statements also. And then internet changed the whole world. The generative AI is that moment. It will change the whole world. It takes time, but the pace at which it is growing and the way the cost is coming down, you will see massive transformation in the way you underwrite business, the way you handle claims, the way the claims will be friction-free, the way you run processes. Everything will change, Doctor. It is that time is there. And I've seen you also work a lot on this,
Yeah, so I think business model will change, but the outcome and the output will become much faster, much more seamless. And like you used the word Brahma, Vishnu, even I would like to add some value there, where there was a collaboration many years back and some 3,000 years back when there was Ramayana and the Ram Setu was built, where there is going to be a collaboration between man and the machine. So the two intellects, 1,000 human beings are going to make a single AI tool. And eventually that AI will be far superior than 10,000 individuals. So I think that collaborative effort between the man and the machine will take place eventually. I do believe that there is going to be a significant shift in the model. But yes, all on the positive side.
No, I think in life, in the world, you should never, there's nothing negative.
Absolutely.
I have also said this many times. Even the pain that you receive, the suffering that you receive is hugely positive, because I've asked people, tell me in your life, whatever have you become, is it because of pleasures that you had, or is it because of suffering that you had?
Absolutely.
Because if it was only pleasures, I promise you would have not been where you are, Doctor. It's the sufferings which make you stronger, which make you reach to the next level. Pleasures only give you happiness transiently. It never makes you powerful. Success does not make you powerful. It is your failures which make you powerful. So I think there's nothing negative. Anything. Generative AI will also have a spin which will be very, very different than what we can imagine. But if you're excited about it and you're able to use it well, it will just transform the way you do business completely.
As they say, falling down is pardonable, but not getting up after falling down is not.
That's the problem.
So I think we all must rejuvenate ourselves, and agile is the word. So, I mean, we should be just remaining agile to take things forward in a positive manner, of course. Tapan, you have actually created a great organization. Where do you think are the top 3 leadership qualities which has led you to this success in your personal life and in your professional life?
No, first is simple. One is the belief that everybody that you meet is an amazing human being and they have something very special in them. I have yet to meet any individual whom God has not sent with some very special quality. So in any circumstances, you will have somebody who will be a bigger and better leader than you are for that particular circumstances. Just ensuring that the person gets the requisite freedom and enablement and the environment to prosper and blossom is all that you do as a leader. Because I think leadership, when you're leading organizations, is not about you. It's about all these people who are brilliant, who are so special. And all you have to do is enable the environment in which they can blossom. It's like you have amazing seeds with you, doctor, and you just throw them on stone, and then you say you're an amazing leader. How sad can it be? Your job is just to ensure that they are on the right ground, and you just water it and you allow them to blossom, I think. And then you have an amazing garden or forest or whatever you're creating that gets created. So I think the only thing that each one of us should be cautious about is there's no individual, not a single individual whom you can say is not having any special talent. It's your job to be able to figure that out and provide the right environment. That is all, doctor. I think rest will happen.
Absolutely. In fact, I always say to my team, no price is a good price for a bad quality of risk. So if the risk value is 100, then the price insurer will quote for a worst risk is going to be 100. It cannot be a penny cheaper. So I do understand. And industry has gone through multiple changes, and I think we've seen the 2007 moment, we've seen the IIB moment, we've seen the change in the regulation, we've seen multiple guidelines which have come up during our journey. How have you been able to innovate on your product lines?
Yeah, I actually find this very funny. So one advantage of being in the world longer than some people who have joined in recently is that you have seen a lot of different circumstances, war. And so when somebody tells it's a crisis, then you smile that you have seen bigger before that. And this too, you'll be able to manage. So it doesn't ruffle you. So I think when you said all these shocks, if you look at industry of ours, which is a combined ratio of close to 120 for 16 years in a row, I've yet to find any industry which would have this kind of combined ratio. Industry is 5-6% of losses. They call themselves the most customer-centric industry, and here we have been losing 17% for 16-17 years in a row, and still there's no sight of coming to a positive sense, and you still do that. I think that is where the beauty of our industry lies, that you still keep on pushing that. On products, as I always said, doctor, that it has to solve some issue. I think I'm very, very clear.
Absolutely.
I never try to think of copy pasting. So let me give you some recent ones that we launched. We have 400 products. I can't talk all about it. But just to give an insight, and the idea is that when people think of product in insurance, they should always think of what are they solving. So we came out with this parametric at individual level, the climate safe, which is a very tech-driven and real database driven in terms of how it moves. And the moment we launched it, it already crossed 50-60,000 purchase at a very small ticket size of couple of hundred rupees for individual, right from gig workers to workers, they can buy, and now all is going ahead. It was solving the issue of the heat wave which was there, or the unprecedented weather change. And as a gig worker, it disrupts your earning capacity, and how do you take care of that? That was the problem statement. The one before the surety bond, in the Indian market, when the government was pushing human infrastructure, the market didn't have surety bond, and I remember talking to some of the ministers, and they said you should do something about it. And then we got in the cap city, the first to launch. And in fact, Mr. Gadkari was kind enough to launch the product for us in the Indian market. But the one which was closest to my heart was We talk of aging population in Europe. We talk of their issue of aging population. But in India, we say we have a demographic dividend, which means that we have more young people than old people. No? It looks good. But what we forget is for a country of India's size, the number of old people also is huge, one. Second, what we forget is that India, if I go back, let's say when I was a kid, it was a joint family structure. So in a way, the family took care of itself because of the joint family structure. The aging population in the
Ecosystem
family,
in the family.
was taken care of. In today's time, the kids are doing amazingly well. They are going ruling all over the world. You go to any city, any country in the world now, you would see Indians doing phenomenally well. No, but their aging parents are now staying alone in some city. No, and we are not thinking that if something happens to them, what is the ecosystem which will take care of it? So I told my team some couple of years back that this has to be solved. People are not talking about it. Our government is not talking about it. No, I don't see anybody working on it. And that time, Apple had come with this fall detection. I'm talking at that time, no, where they could detect a fall and it would go to a call center. So I spoke to one of my entrepreneur friends. I said, get me a device at a low cost. He was able to get me that device. Then I told my service partner that get me ambulances and call center, in the top cities. And then what I said is for the aging population, if somebody has any fall or there's a parametric change in their heartbeat or something, we can measure it and we immediately call up the person. If they don't pick up the call, we send up the ambulance, get the person picked up, take them or her to the best hospital, start the treatment, in the golden, doctor, the first 4 hours we don't take it, it can become very, very dangerous for the person in terms of quality of life. And start treatment, even with the kids can fly in, So we look at it and then we started it, then my friend said we should also do something for the loneliness of people and create an ecosystem. And that's when I realized that as an insurance company, I cannot do because I'm bound by the Insurance Act 1938. And that is when we started the advocacy with the government to allow value-added services to insurance company. That was the trigger point when we started pushing that. And what I've heard from whatever interaction I had with the ministries, it's part of the act, change. So, moment you add value-added services and you add the insurance industry thinking of solving societal issues, put it together, and that's example, you have an amazing product like this which creates a full ecosystem. Because right now I have to create the ecosystem using external party help to make it part of the product. I cannot do it on my own because it's not allowed by the act. So when you talk of product innovation, Doctor, it will happen at this basis. And I've also seen your innovation in terms of the ecosystem you are trying to create for straight through, making it easy for be it brokers or insurance companies to be able to have a seamless code generation from a client perspective, making it more fair, transparent. So you see, when the thinking is to solve an issue, Doctor, innovation is a buzzword. But the reality is if you think like this, you'll be able to solve a lot of issues.
So in fact, that thought process for Lockton in India, we came up with the quotation management, is mainly because there is so much of duplication of the work which is happening between insurer and the broker. Now for a broker, it's going to be 20 efforts to close one deal. Average I'm talking about. Some may be at 50%, some may be at 0% or whatever. There is an average of 5% success ratio, and the insurance company also has a success ratio of 8 to 10%. So for every transaction, there are 30 efforts. And how do we minimize those 30 efforts? There is a duplication of work going on between a broker and the insurance company, which would mean that we are actually mapping the entire risk and giving it to you. But you are also underwriting your own self. Now imagine a situation if you are able to give you a complete guided outline of underwriting information which you need on a single platform, and that's where the entire transaction can take place. So I think, thanks, Bajaj has been a great support there, and with your help there, I'm sure overall the industry will benefit with these.
Increase efficiency, that means people can do more business. It's simple, that increases penetration. So anything that I'm going to point out is, Doctor, that each one of us tries to solve a problem and use the latest tools available to do so. And that is where the innovation keeps on happening. And I also say it keeps us young, because then we're always excited like a child at all points of time that we solve this. This is what we should do next. This is what impact we can make. And then why worry? If the act has to change, go and talk that it has to change. Why worry? There should be no limitation in your mind. It's all about efforts in all the right direction. If the cause is good, it will happen.
So Tapan, one second last question in today's interview. So basically, a lot of things have changed, and I think you also believe a lot in spirituality. There is an external you and there is also an internal you. Now the gap between the two, I think we are trying to minimize by way of spirituality. Where do you think is your biggest quality which has helped you in growing in person?
So there are 2-3 things which over time I have learned. First is that life would be tough. It will hit you hard. It will bring you to your knees. The ability to smile and come back every day, knowing you'll be hit again, then again come back, again come back, again come back. I think that is what makes a difference. I have yet to see anybody who has been successful, and all the biographies that I have read, nowhere I've seen a biography which said that this person, right on time she was born, to the time they died, had such an amazing life, not a single incident of failures. All biographies, 90% is just failures. And then they talk of success. So one of the lessons of my life is this, that keep on coming back,
Absolutely.
and with a smile. Don't worry about the hits, it will be there. Second lesson of my life has been that, which I said earlier, was that sufferings make you strong. So if you are suffering, be thankful to God. It's going to make you very strong. Third has been, and I do believe in God. I do believe in the entire spiritualism which is there. And spiritualism is a scientific process. I'm a scientist of education, doctor. A lot of people commercialize spiritualism, but in my view, it's a very simple scientific process. If you are thinking good of people, and if you are ready to make a difference to anybody who comes to you, if you're ready to add to their happiness, if you're ready to do whatever best you can do with a very clear heart, and if you don't feel these 3-4 things which takes time, anger, jealousy, exactly, you know it, doctor. If that keeps on going down over time, it is an amazing experience, doctor. You suddenly are very light. You suddenly are very, very blissful in the way you are. You suddenly are what you have been searching for all your life. It's so simple, doctor. I think that is, these are my lessons of my life.
So in fact, this reminds me of a statement which I've learned from my Guruji, that pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. So, and how we react to those and these challenges in insurance industry, what we have faced, I think we all have been able to come out with this, some kind of a spiritual element which is within us, which has helped us in overcoming all these challenges of life. One last question to you. How do we nurture talent? I mean, industry, there is a talent crunch. Of course, there is new talent coming in, but it is not enough to fill in the capacity. There is a talent crunch. There is talent. There are people available, but talented people are too less in the industry. How do you think we are going to solve this problem in future?
Doctor, I think let me take you back when I joined the insurance industry. My mother was very unhappy, because in my time, if you join the insurance industry, means you are really good for nothing. So though it was a tough examination, lakhs of people sat for this. It's a government job, and only a couple of hundred get selected. So it was tough. It was considered very good. But the concept, if she was very unhappy, she said, what do I tell my relatives? What do I tell my friends? My son has joined the insurance industry. That was the way people saw insurance. So I still joined now 34 years back. So I thought, okay, maybe it's an Indian issue. So when we had this JV with Allianz in 2001, so one of my German friends was there, and I told him the story. He laughed. He said, no, in Germany it's better. If you are good for nothing, you become a bartender. When you fail as a bartender, you join the insurance industry. So across the globe, I realized that the way insurance is being seen is not very positive from a career point of view. Then I thought, how can it make a difference? Because the industry does amazingly well. It makes a difference to people's life. It touches so many lives. It saves so many people from going bankrupt. It saves so many people from just shutting down. It does so much. It pays billions of rupees as claims when a tornado hits, or when, let's say, if you see when COVID hit, the industry paid 6 times the profit that they made and didn't even ask for money from the government. They went all out, and it does so much for everybody. People who have actually received claims, speak to them, they are so grateful that that the industry made such a huge difference. So they disconnect in what the industry does, and they disconnect in how people perceive. And one of my endeavors at a personal level, also as an industry leader, also has been, how do I bridge this disconnect? How do I get people to understand? So I speak in a lot of colleges. I go meet a lot of students and try to do that. Fast forward, if I see today, now when you look at insurance company today, there are two things which has happened very, very well, because a lot of the private companies coming in, a lot of funding coming in, is that the average career growth of a youngster who joins the insurance industry compared to his friends who join some other industry. In insurance industry, his salary and his growth is much faster.
Absolutely.
Simply because, let's say if I pick up the GI industry, in the past, let's say if I take a 20-year chart, it has had a double-digit growth for the past 20 years. For the next 20 years also, it will have double-digit growth. Show me industry which can talk of 40 years with double-digit growth. I can't think of one.
Absolutely.
If the industry is growing at double-digit, which means that if you are a part of the industry, your growth at a personal level also is phenomenal compared to your peers in different industry.
Yeah.
Now, suddenly, a lot of youngsters have started seeing this. So, talent is started moving. I think when you started moving towards the insurance industry, the growth is happening. And now they're also seeing the impact it makes to the industry. So, they feel that they are committed to a cause which makes a difference to their country, to their society. At the same time, the career also moving at a much faster pace. I think this story, when people see this story in reality, then you attract a lot of talent. But the problem of the industry is because it is growing so fast and with so many rapid changes, and there is gestation for people to learn. That is where the mismatch is. And that is where I think good leaders like you should be mentoring. You should spend 30% giving back to industry by mentoring such youngsters and trying to put that together. And that's one thing I'm talking to a lot of my friends also, that mentoring from leaders, irrespective of where the talent is, which in company they are working for, is something that we have to do now. And I'll be taking it to the council, also talk to your association, the broker association, to see how do we handle that. But if we're not able to get talent at speed, then
faces challenges.
Then you're talking of such high growth, such high numbers. You're talking of 1,000 insurance companies in India. You're talking so much. How will you run that? I think so. It's a very relevant question you asked, Doctor. It's a huge issue.
And I know, and I do completely echo your thoughts. In fact, in my book, I've written that it's time for us now for learn, earn, and return. Learning phase has been over, and though we are learners all throughout our life, we are going to remain students. Earning is going to remain, but returning back is most important at this moment. And we have to return back to the people by way of mentoring them and creating a lot of job opportunities. Even if you see today, there's a lot of now demand which is coming for the insurance industry, insurance companies, brokers, etc. A lot of things are changing. In fact, I had a similar story. My mother appointed a mentor for me, that from a medical doctor you want to go into an insurance broker. So something is wrong with him. So she appointed a mentor, but I mean, we are seeing the fruits.
Exactly.
So in fact, our salaries in insurance sector currently are equitable to what merchant bankers are being paid, or there is a lot of
better.
Absolutely. So I think a lot of positive times comes ahead for us, and I think we all will encash that moment. And I don't think there has been a better time than this, what I'm seeing for India. We are blessed to see this time of India. The golden age is coming back again. So I think all of us are at the right place at the right time to encash this opportunity. So thank you so much, Tapan, for taking all this time, and from your busy schedule, I do understand you wear multiple hats, not just as an industry leader, as a leader of Bajaj, General Insurance Council, and many more. So that really thanks from my bottom of my heart to be here on this podcast, and thanks once again.